Everything should be good. Hello, welcome. Extremely special show today, as I will show you, this is what you're seeing right now, the second batch of graffiti. Ooh, forgot to turn on lights. Easy to forget things. Boom, see the difference? But it's all up in my face. So what you see before you are a new batch of graffiti. The last time I got the first batch, I had 38. I had 38 on one big walk. And today I did the same thing. And to be honest, I came back home with my camera expecting to have 50 new graffiti for you. 50, right? Which would have made me extremely proud and extremely happy. But then, you know, these things just happen. And I have 110 new graffiti to show you guys. And this is, like I've said before we were at 5. And right now, if I'm being generous, I would say we are at 20% of what you are going to see, as these I did do around my neighborhood, of course, but I do live in a big city, in which case I can actually explore and, you know, find new ones in other neighborhoods. But it would take a lot of time and would be, you know, you never know what you're going to get. You know, I'm lucky because my neighborhood strives on street art, which means there's some everywhere, which I mean, proof is in the pudding. So it's all right in front of you. So yeah, it was one hell of a day, and because of that, I found like new restaurants around my town. But this is all about the show, and we're going to talk about big time the Mitchells versus the Machines. This is the newest animated film on Netflix. It is a big deal because it's the newest one from Sony, the makers of the Lego Movie and Spider-Man: Enter the Spider-Verse. Big time. It's also produced by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, which are, you know, they directed Lego Movie and are big time names. And so yeah, it's a big deal. Trust me on this. And we're also going to talk about the Amnesia Fortnight Movie, which is a documentary from Double Fine, which is a game studio. They're very in close with a documentary crew. This is one of the craziest graffiti, by the way. The detail on it is insane. And it's one of those few ones that actually says something. Anyway, and there's one in here that will be, there it is. Look how good this one is. Let's go back. We're going back. And trust me, I have it two different times. I have never seen Venom drawn so impeccably, let alone on a wall with graffiti paint. I'm guessing with spray paint or whatever. I don't know the techniques, right? I'm just a observer, and I enjoy this stuff. This was going to be the main event. I was going to go out of my way to find it because, again, this is 108 clips on random, so I did not know it would come up. But this not only inspired me. The real reason I came up with this was that I went to a restaurant that was pretty far away, and on the way I saw like 4 or 5 graffiti, and I'm like, man, there's so many, right? So I have to use this for my show. But this one specifically was extremely well hidden in an alleyway. The only way to find it, the only way to see it, would be to go out of your way to go through that alleyway, which, unless you live there, or unless you're crazy like me and take these side paths, you would never, ever see this. And it's one of the most beautiful pieces I have seen ever. I'm also a fan, of course, so that helps. So yeah, Amnesia Fortnight Double Fine Game Studio. And they document the making of, where they take 2 weeks. This is what Amnesia Fortnight is they take 2 weeks break, and all of them split into small teams that create small games within 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks, you got 4 groups, that means 4 games, and we'll see what comes out the other end. You know what I mean? It's like a fun game jam, I believe is what they call it. So yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. Not much, since I pretty much said everything that was supposed to be said. I love this, the Biggie. Some of them are shaky, I apologize. I try to do it as least as possible. But you know, I'm not perfect. Plus, I got what I got. But man, I'm so happy. It was a beautiful day. And also, it allowed me to try out new restaurants around my place. One of which had the pogos, the Korean pogos. You know, it's one of those things, one of those new hotness. It's deep fried pogo with cheese filling as well as the sausage. You can also just have cheese. I had the sausage and cheddar. Lives up to the hype, baby. There was like 3 choices of sauces, but it's just like a fried pogo, pretty much. More crispy, you know, with cheese inside. Delicious stuff. Highly recommend. And I also had like a ramen shake, was a ramen, but inside of a shake. You know, like a milkshake. Anyway, very weird concept, but delicious stuff. But I do want to say pro to that Korean pogo. Anyway, so without further ado, apologies. In my head, I'm like, I could talk over this graffiti art because I have so many, and all of this is new to you guys. And So yeah, it's a beautiful showcase. But we are not here for the graffiti. We are here, as always, for the best of the best media every week, every day. That's what I do, baby, in all genres. And this is the kind of thing that makes me so happy, okay? I talked about this before I was previewing it. The Mitchells versus the Machines. And I love, actually I hate when studios do this because it's a risky endeavor. But as you can see up here at the top of the poster, from the humans that brought you Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse and the Lego Movie, okay? From the humans is weird. Usually they don't do that. I have another example here just that I wanted to show you guys. Abominable, which is a movie that I wish I could have covered, but it came out before I started doing this stuff. But it had the same thing from the studio that brought you How to Train Your Dragon. It doesn't mean if it were one of the directors that had made a known and quality film, that's what they put on. But it doesn't. It's either a new director or that's pretty much it. It is just a new director. So usually the solution to that is use the word producer. But in terms of animation, they use the word studio. So it's the same studio. Doesn't mean it's going to be good. And doesn't mean it's going to be bad. But it's kind of a lie. You know what I mean? It's a risk. But in some cases it pays off. So in terms of Abominable, yes, it was not as good as How to Train Your Dragon, but it doesn't mean it was worthy of being on the poster, because this movie is fantastic. Give it a 9. It's one of the best ones of last year, and fascinating because it's from a Asian perspective. I'm not sure which ones, but regardless, great film. But here's the thing. Mitchell and the Machines chose to put Spider-Man and Lego Movie, which, like How to Train Your Dragon, are masterpieces. And like top tier of the toppest tier. So to put that on their poster and to make this a big deal means they have to live up to that. And not only did they do it, it is part of those masterpieces, okay? I do not want to go into spoilers with this one because it is a masterpiece beyond a doubt, okay? And again, this year has blown me away in terms of animation. We have had 3 masterpieces already since the beginning of the year. Last episode, I covered Demon Slayer Mugen Train, which is by far the most popular animated movie in terms of box office, in terms of actual money. And that was the weakest one of the year. The weakest. The weakest was the biggest. And in this case, it's another perfect example of, I'm not saying this one is small because it is on Netflix. It is being seen by thousands of people. But it does not have the same big name directors or the market value of Lego Movie and Spider-Man. The reason those two are that good is because we already come in loving those things. People come into Spider-Man loving Spider-Man, and then the movie ends up blowing them away and being the best Spider-Man of all time. Same thing with Lego Movie, but it's actually the complete opposite, where it's a subversion of your expectations. You go into the Lego Movie thinking it's going to be trash, and it ends up, exceeding your expectations to such a degree that it becomes a masterpiece. Now, the Mitchells versus the Machines does not have that luxury. It does not have a well-known name like Spider-Man or a well-known name like brand like Lego, right? So it has to live off its own competency, on its own story that is built from scratch, from a place of love and passion. And for the studio to believe them, to give them the exact same budget that Spider-Man has. So in terms of animation quality, it is beautiful, and they have their own style. Like, it looks like Spider-Man in terms of, and it has a faster frame rate, but they have a style that is unique to them. You put a Pixar movie and a DreamWorks movie, and they pretty much look the same. But you put a Sony movie, in this case Spider-Man and this one, completely unique, tied to that studio, in the same way stop motion is. And again, I am not showing you anything purposefully, because I told you guys, it is a masterpiece. The less you know, the better. And no better than knowing anything, because at the very least with Spider-Man, you know what you're getting. You're getting some web slinging, you're getting some fighting, you know what I mean? With this, you don't know nothing. Although you do know that it is a family called the Mitchells. So it is very much a family unit that has to, take care of, let's say, machines, because it's in the title. But that is all I will say. That is not to say it is a perfect film, okay? But in my opinion, it is a 10 without a doubt. Okay, the flaws do not break away from the qualities that are so good. Most notably, number one quality of this film is the comedy. The comedy is so on point. It always goes for the joke, which I always respect. And I feel that this has become the norm. Like I've been saying it a lot recently with Arlo, the Alligator Boy, and of course Croods 2 being my favorite of last year. But it all started with like Madagascar 3. Lego Movie took the reins, and now almost all of them are that have that in their backbone, where no matter how dramatic, no matter how much action, no matter how visually arresting a scene is, they will always go out of their way to do a joke. And of course, that does not matter if the joke sucks. If the jokes suck, you have a sucky movie. Especially if you go for the joke all the time, it's just, you're like, another bad joke, you know? But if the jokes are good and are consistent and constant, you get bombarded, and I mean bombarded, with laughter and good vibes and good feelings that are unfathomable other than in the genre of animation. That's why I love it so much. A comedy movie can only dream to be as funny as a truly funny animated film. And this is a perfect example of that. So Mitchells and the Machines, please, I implore you, okay? I implore you to watch this film. It's on Netflix. It's extremely easy, and you'll have the best of times. It sucks too because I wish it was in theaters, but in a way it's perfect for Netflix because there are so many times and so many jokes where I paused it, rewound it for like 10 seconds and replayed it. And there's so many bits of animation there's so much going on that it's easy to just rewind for 10 seconds and just take it all in, because it is a feast. It is a feast of comedy. It is a feast of animation, and it is truly an original piece that stands with all of the masterpieces. Think of any masterpieces of animation that you love, the ones I talked about just recently, right? Or any ones that you personally think are that good. This one is that good, okay? So yeah, and this is my Croods 2 of 2021. I was annoying with Croods 2 in 2020. I would bring it up at like random moments because I was like, because I knew in my head a lot of people have not seen it. And it's the same thing for this one, or like Arlo the Alligator Boy, which is, again, in my opinion, probably the best musical animated film of all time. Again, came out this year, again on Netflix. No excuses. But as you can see, I can't control myself. And I go out of my way to not tell spoilers for a good reason. So yeah, that's the Mitchell and the Machines. 10 out of 10. Could not be prouder of them. They did it, okay? Check it out. So, now, that was so much that I'm already at a loss to what's next. What's next is Cuphead, baby. Cuphead is a shoot-'em-up video game. Fantastic. I just realized I should have put it on YouTube, but what I do have is, first of all, this thing you cannot get illegally, which I'm very surprised for. You pretty much can get any comic you want that is well-known easily. And I mean easily, okay? Especially if you don't mind reading them on your computer. So what I got instead is the art of Cuphead. Now, this doesn't showcase what is in here, which I will showcase soon. But it does showcase the style of, visuals, which are inspired by the classic 1920s animation of old. So like old-time Walt Disney. Yeah, those old-timey cartoons, you know what I mean? It has a vibe. So in this case, it showcases the environments and the early bosses, right? So now the comic itself is a actual comic book. So it takes these characters, which in this game, there is no story. It is simply, you are two little Mickey Mouse type characters that go from boss to boss, trying to collect that. There's no story. It's literally a boss rush game. You just go from boss to boss in pure pain, because every boss is extremely hard. They only get harder. And trust me, like to beat a boss, you need like 10 tries each. It's pretty, it's a brutal video game. But it is unequivocally beautiful. Like, it is well known for that. The animations especially, because it's a perfect rendition of what a 1920s cartoon would be if it were a shoot-'em-up video game. Now here's the thing. This is the comic, right? Okay, let me go back to graffiti because you get the idea, and I will show you. I will do it on YouTube actually, because it is worth. Because it is a 1-to-1. Okay, let's do it here. Cuphead trailer. It's staggering how much they nailed it. Okay, I'm gonna skip this ad. So let me show you. Okay, so it is 1-to-1 the style of not only the video game, of course, which is based on 1920s animation, but it is in comic book form. So it's crazy because it's an inspiration on top of an inspiration. So 1920s animation inspired the video game, which in turn, a comic book took that style and created this. You know what I mean? It's very special. And for that, here we go, perfect. Again, extremely colorful, and as you can see, boom, I'll show you right here. It is the exact same thing, a true one-to-one recreation in a whole new medium, okay? And because there is no story in the video game, the story is extremely light in the comic book. Same exact thing. But it is, you know, with a, it's made to make you laugh, of course, and the animations that are extremely animated in the game are same thing in the comic book. But because it's still images, you need storytelling. Now, again, don't read this for deep story, you know what I mean? Like, this comic will not make you cry, but it will make you appreciate the game. It will make you appreciate the art of comic books, and especially the art of old times, which barely exists anymore. No comic from Marvel or DC will ever look like this, because that style is gone, and it's not without its value. And for that reason, even though it's light on plot, and it doesn't like move the needle or anything, like, this will not blow you away, but it will, your eye will be blown away. You know what I mean? Because it's that beautiful. So for that reason, it's a 5 out of 5. If I were more critical, this would be a 4 out of 5. Just because, you know what I mean? I read comics all the time. If you don't have a good story, it's like, who cares, right? But if you care about the style of the game, and that style in particular, you could not do much better than this. And because you can't get it illegally, you just have to buy it. If you know what I mean? Take that chance. And I'm telling you right now, face to face, eye to eye, you can take that chance. I can see the back on the price. It's $11 US, 15 bucks Canadian. Seriously worth the price. It is small. It looks smaller than it is because inside it is, you know, it's filled to the brim and the pages are thin. And trust me, you will not be disappointed, especially if you like the game and the style, because it's truly something special. So yeah, Cuphead, comic capers, and curios. Top tier stuff. And finally, Amnesia Fortnight. I'm just going to talk lightly on this because this is completely optional. You know what I mean? Me watching this is me supporting Double Fine. As you can see, it is a true movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes. It is no joke. It is free on YouTube, which is why it's not, you know, you're not supposed to watch this. You can watch it all in one shot, but it's perfect for like in a tab and in between stuff. You know, you're working, you put this in the background, put this on a second screen or whatever, because what it is it is straight up game development. The beauty of it is that because it's a documentary and because it's in such a cool studio, it's very cool people, very open-minded, but it is pretty much game development minutia within 2 weeks. So you got 2 weeks to build a game. They show you everything. They show you the struggles. They show you the teamwork, and etc., etc. But there's no storytelling. You know what I mean? There's no crazy scene. There's no breakdown. Nobody cries. Nobody's like, oh, there's no drama, right? Only the drama that comes with building something you believe in within 2 weeks. That is it. And especially if you don't want to see how the sausage is made, maybe not watch this. But if you do care about video games and you do want to see how one can be made from scratch from a beautiful and passionate team of genuinely good people, right? Then it's not a must-watch, but it's certainly highly recommended. I gave it a hard 7, okay? But I was being generous because it gave me exactly what I wanted. Nothing more, nothing less. So for me, that's a 7. The thing is, if you do not, like, if you judge this as a documentary, which it is, compared to other documentaries, then it would be a 6, just because what it's tackling isn't anything special. There's nobody's gonna change watching this. You know what I mean? It's just to show you how games are made from a passionate team. That is literally it. But for that reason, I do recommend it. The Amnesia Fortnight Movie from Double Fine. Fantastic stuff on their main channel. Loved it. And finally, some more graffiti. Now, for the next few days, I will have to catch up. I have to go all in on Amphibia. I'm also extremely close to finishing Yakuza 6, so I will do both of those things in the coming days, which means, yeah, I don't know if I will watch a movie or anything else other than Amphibia, because it's a big deal. Plus, the finale was like 2 days ago, so I'm technically late, so I gotta go all in on that. But, stuff, as always, is coming. And the second thing I want to recommend, and this will be the second main event, because we already showed Venom, so you saw how amazing my Venom graffiti, not my Venom graffiti, but the one that was on the wall that I captured was. So, actually, I gotta show you this one. This is perfect for a main event as well. This was a long ass wall. So with these long ass walls, I cannot take a specific shot of every graffiti because they're so close to each other. Plus, it actually shines as a gigantic piece. So see here, this is one of them. It's crazy. 110, man. 110. I could not believe it myself. I was like, nice, I got like 50 graffiti. Let's go. And it's like, nope. You got more than double. You know what I mean? It's good stuff. Hashtag 69 there, right at the end. So yeah, and the last main event is this. Okay, I want to talk about this a little bit. Noclip. Noclip is a fantastic YouTube channel which, again, documents the making of video games. They interview the developers, sometimes on games that are not released, Hades especially, and games that are already released, like Dishonored and other titles. Anyway, this just released today. It's called Noclip Greatest Hits, in which on Patreon people vote, and usually are old games. So they try to talk to old developers of these tried and true classics of the video game genre. You know, like the pillars. And the first one that won, surprisingly, he was surprised, is Roller Coaster Tycoon. And I remember getting this game in a box of cereals when I was young. They used to give, you know, like they had to sell cereal so bad. They put literal full video games in them. I could not believe, like when I think back on that, I was like, man, we were spoiled. Because Roller Coaster Tycoon, fantastic game. Like I was young. I was like 9 years old, and the game isn't complicated, but it is deep. So the fact that a child could just play it and get into it easily is a testament to its design. And this showcases it, right? Noclip, fantastic stuff. But the main event, so yeah, I do recommend this, especially if you played Roller Coaster Tycoon or want to know about video game development in general, check out the channel. But the main event today is their new intro. Because they have an intro for this show, and I was like, dude, how good is this damn intro? So here we go. Ready? Now. Never say I didn't get you anything. By the way, what blows me away about this intro is how did they get the font to some of these. Look at this one. This one blows my mind. The greatest from the Super Metroid font, that's not a font you can choose. It's not like you can go in Microsoft Word and go like, yeah, I want that, give me that Super Metroid font, you know? So, again, blows me away. Look at this. Like the Tails, not Tails, freaking Trials of Mana? Secret of Mana font. How? Anyway. Masterpiece stuff. So I highly recommend this, but no more than the Mitchells and the Machine. So until next time, we will play stuff instead. And I will show you something in Yakuza, because man, I'm 100%ing that game, and I would never recommend that to anybody. So I will showcase why tomorrow. So until then, we're going to have more graffiti every show. Not every show, actually. It's going to be a while till you get new ones. By the way, this was at the restaurant. I went to get that weird Korean pogo. They had this on the wall. It's like an old diner style. Good stuff. So we'll end on this. Love you guys. Venom again. Okay, we'll end on Venom because that's the true masterpiece. Till next time. Love you guys. Oh, never know. Peace. Oh, another one. Again, these are all great. These are all fantastic. It's hard for me to end when I know that like this was one of the best ones I captured. Yeah, she was just a small piece of a huge wall. I love the links on the right. Okay, I have to stop. Okay, these will play every show. So until next time, love you guys. This one was hidden in between two trees, dude. I had to find it. Okay, next time. Peace.